Welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. And I'm back with you for episode number 117. For the 117th time, Ole Walls is coming to you to give you Ole Walls House. So thank you to everybody. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate Jeff and Bucky the past couple weeks doing this with us. Unless we get a late sub in from Jeff, depending on how things kind of fall out, it's going to be just me today. They have sent their proxy votes in for NCAA tournament picks. So if you guys could, a little housekeeping, you know the deal. If you could rate, review, comment, subscribe, share the pod, let some other people know that Ole Walls House is out there. I would greatly appreciate that. So before we get to the show, quick preview. We're talking NCAA basketball. We got the Flyers to talk about. Ooh, I got things to say. We got baseball's back. We got a PGA tournament to talk about. And my passing thoughts are back in full. I apologize that last week's were a little light in that department, so we're back in full on all of that. Before we dive right in, Liquid IV, you're looking for 20% off. Your man Ole Walls has got you covered. Promo code is OWH at liquidiv.com or in the link in the show notes below. You guys all know I love Liquid IV because I use it almost daily. I travel a lot for work, so I like the portability of just the you grab a little packet, you're good to go. You dump that in 16 ounces of water. Got double the hydration than water alone. 3 times the electrolytes as any leading sports drink. It comes in all sorts of flavors. I like Concord Grape for myself. There's sugar-free flavors as well. And it's vegan, it's non-GMO, it's non-dairy. And Liquid IV donates over 39 million servings of water because they believe having access to water should be equitable access across the globe. So if you're looking for Liquid IV at 20% off, the promo code is OWH, O for Ole, W for Walls, H for House. All right, let's get to the show. Final four set for this coming weekend on Saturday and Monday. On the one side, we're going to have UConn and Alabama. On the other side, we have Purdue and the Cinderella run of NC State. I think they're the first 11 to make it to the Final Four since like George Mason, maybe something like that I see. They're headed to the desert, headed to Phoenix, Arizona for the Final Four. UConn, Alabama, that game should be up. I'm excited for both games. UConn, Alabama should be fun because the pace could get really good. Alabama they're a fun team to watch, man. And NC State is just obviously fun. DJ Burns just giving us all the stuff. And Zach Edey with Purdue, who gets every single foul call ever. Also, Zach Edey was going scorched fucking earth post-game. So, first off, he said something to the effect of, I forget who he was in the post-game. I forget what the thing was like. People are counting us out. We're fucking winners. Like, drops the F-bomb right on TV. And then in the post-game, like in the press conference, my man's at that table and he's letting coaches have it. He mentions Rick Barnes by name. By name. He's like, Rick Barnes looked over me. I'm like, damn, homie, you're going fucking scorched earth right now. Man, after a team that had lost to a 16 last year, it'll be quite interesting. Can they get it done? Can they get to the title game? Can they have the redemptive story, or will the Cinderella NC State and DJ Burns? Meanwhile, on the other side, you got Alabama, who likes to go fast. They've been taking out the ACC the last couple of games here. They obviously took out my Tar Heels. In a fun game. They were really going in the first half. They both scored close to 50. Slowed down a little bit in the second half, but it was still really good. Just a wild 3 at the end of the game by Jalen Withers. Alabama played a good game. They employed a very good strategy. They were daring Elliot Cadeau and Seth Trimble to beat them. At times it worked very well. At times it did not. Elliot Cadeau made 2 threes, and then Trimble made another. So you probably got more out of them than they were expecting or hoping with that strategy. At the same time, I don't know that leaving guys wide open is ever the best idea. That said, those guys were not on the court the last 10 minutes of that game. They completely went away from them so that they couldn't pull that. RJ Davis had just a horrendous game. Let's see what the final numbers for him were. Whatever the final numbers were, they're probably going to come out a little better than he actually played, if that can make sense. This Grant Nelson character was just an animal against UNC. Baycott missed a huge dunk, just fanned one late in the game. RJ Davis ended up with 16 points, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. He got to the free throw line and made some kind of shots in the lane late, but went 4 of 20 from the field, 0 of 9 from 3-point range. He turned it over once. Baycott turned it over 3 times. Baycott just not good with the ball. Carolina shot incredibly well from the foul line. Only RJ Davis and Baycott missed a shot. RJ Davis went 8 of 9. Baycott 3 of 4. 2 of 2 from Trimble and 2 of 2 from Cormac Ryan. Cormac Ryan came out guns a-blazing and kind of cooled off in the second half. So, tough end to the year for the Heels. Sweet 16 trip. At the start of the year, wasn't expecting much, and kind of midway through the year, kind of expectations changed and thought this team was capable of winning an NCAA title. It'll be interesting what happens with like Harrison Ingram. I think RJ Davis could come back again. I think he still has one more year available to him. I think Ingram still has a year. I think Baycott is done. Cormac Ryan is an interesting one. I don't know if he has availability. I'll try and look that up and continue talking. But yeah, so, a team that came back after a year where there were all the expectations, where they returned most of a team that went to a Final Four in a national title game and had a national title game that they probably should have won. So they come back with all the expectations of the number 1 ranked team in the country, and then they just implode. Cormac Ryan's probably done, would be my guess. He's played 5 years already. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to that. I'm not for sure because of how it all works. I think RJ Davis can come back. But to this team that really didn't have a ton of expectations and kind of got on a roll, RJ Davis has only played 4 years, 2020 to 2021. So he's outside of that COVID year. Or is that still technically a COVID year? I don't fucking know, man. I can't keep track of this. We had people playing 87 years, and I'm supposed to remember. Who knows? But yeah, so, it ends the way it ends. And, there were good stretches for the Heels this year. There were some letdowns, obviously. Only one team wins their last game of the year. Where else were we? Purdue running through people. Not running through people, but Gonzaga, they kind of handled them. Tennessee gave them a game on Sunday afternoon. That was a fun game. NC State gets by Duke, who just shit the bed. Duke was up like 6 in the first half, and then all of a sudden NC State went on a run. I mean, woofda Duke. Speaking of runs, there was the run of all runs in this NCAA tournament. UConn and Illinois. That game was tied 23-23. And then 30 unanswered points later, UConn was up 53-23. It was one of the wildest things I have ever seen in my life. That they were up. There was a minute 47 in the first half. It was 23-23. With 13:02 left in the game, it was 53-23. Illinois, it was like 50-some minutes. It was like the Virginia game. It was like 50-some real-life minutes in between scores. And close to 9 minutes of actual game time. That is unbelievable. Meanwhile, UConn was just doing whatever the hell they wanted. UConn has led at some point in every game, all 4 games, they have led by 30 points at some point in the game. They have trailed for something like 28 seconds. They were down 2-0 to San Diego State in the Sweet 16. They won that game 82-52. 28 seconds. They are giving 11.5 to Alabama in the Final Four. Now, Alabama's a 4 seed. It's not like they're another number 1 seed. But they're a good basketball team. Like, there were plenty of people picking Alabama to come out of this bracket to get to the Final Four. And they're an 11.5-point underdog in the Final Four. NC State's an 11 seed, and they're only an 8.5-point underdog. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just clicked the boss button on March Madness Live. I'm going to show it to you because this is terrible. I just went here to get the bracket. Like, this is your boss button? Like, this doesn't look better. It just says March Madness all over it. And, like, there's the insignia. They used to have a better one of these. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Very disappointed. What else? Is there anything else? NC State Marquette was a good one. Gonzaga Purdue was fine. Tennessee Creighton was a good game. That was late. I made it through that. I made it through a lot of the Thursday and Friday games, which was kind of incredible. Clemson Arizona was fun. Clemson made a good run, man. It's been a fun weekend of the tournament. Again, I said, when you get to the point where there's not a lot of upsets on Saturday and Sunday of the first weekend, you get the better games and the better teams on this weekend, this past weekend that we just had, and it really works out for the better. So I liked it. The boys sent their proxies in. They were too cool to join us, unless this gets scrapped and Slano joins us at the end. So just to recap, we are 32-32. There have been 64 games, and we are dead even. 32-32. Both the boys sent in, I don't know if they looked at the lines, but both said UConn and Purdue in the Final Four. Jeff said Purdue over UConn, and Bucky said UConn over Purdue. So both have the 1 seeds going. I'm going to say something crazy here. UConn's going to win. Just crazy, I know, right? UConn wins. I think I'm going to take them to cover. Like, I think that's the pick, is UConn covers the 11.5. 11.5 in a Final Four. It's unbelievable. I've been saying this whole time the Cinderella run ends with NC State. I kind of thought, I think we picked them to get by Oakland, but I was like, Marquette's going to get them. Duke's going to get them. I didn't think they were going to get by Texas Tech after the run they had. Man, I mean, if you flip now and pick them, like, you just know you're going to get burnt. But 8.5 is a lot of points they're getting from Purdue. I'll take NC State to cover. I'll take Purdue to win. So I'll take UConn and Purdue in the final. I am enthralled to see what the line on that game is going to be. Either way, I'm taking UConn. UConn looks so good. UConn to win it all. One other college basketball thing. The NCAA made a whoopsies, just a little whoopsies. Where was I going there? Oh, no, it's in my pictures. NC State and Texas women were playing in the Elite Eight, and the 3-point lines on the court did not match. They were incorrect. One was shorter than the other, and both teams are like, fuck it, we'll play anyway. How do you get the wrong court? I don't understand. It's the NCAA tournament. I know it's the women, but you should still figure it the fuck out. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Okay, I think that's all I got. So 32-32, 3 games remain. 67 games will have been picked. The picks are UConn covers Alabama, NC State covers Purdue. UConn and Purdue win, and we get the probably the best matchup we could get out of the entire tournament. Ends up as our final games. The 2 top-ranked seeds, I believe, or maybe Houston was higher than Purdue, but 2 of the top 3 ranked teams in the country are going to go match up, hopefully, on Monday night. Okay, let's keep rolling. Just a disaster of a week for the Philadelphia Flyers. Our Flyers update here. The Flyers now have 9 games remaining. Am I right here? Let me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 7 games remain. That is all. Yep, 7 games. They've played 75 so far this year. And in this 0-3 week, 0-3, when they're playing 2 of the worst teams in the league, they played the Montreal Canadiens, who are last in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, and they played the Chicago Blackhawks, who are last in the Western Conference Central Division. They lose both of those games 4-1 and 5-1. Get absolutely shit kicked in both of those. Played a wild game on Tuesday with the Rangers. I mean, we're trading goals back and forth all night. There were 7 goals scored in the third period. It looked like it was going to get away from the Flyers. Then the Flyers kind of got back into it, ended up getting it into overtime. They go up 2-0 on Tuesday against the Rangers. I was watching this game. I made notes because there was so much to happen. So they go up 2-0. They blow that lead. They tie it up. Then they give up a shorthanded goal. Then Owen Tippett scores on a breakaway. They trade goals to tie it at 5, and then the Rangers won it right away in overtime. The Flyers outshot the Rangers 13-2 in the final 10 minutes in overtime, and the Rangers scored on both shots. While that was happening, there was the worst case scenario. The Caps and the Red Wings were playing, and that game went into overtime, so they both got points. And then worst case scenario again, the Capitals end up winning. The Capitals, in a week where they played some pretty tough teams, the Red Wings, who are fighting for a playoff spot, the Maple Leafs, who are very good, and then the Bruins, they come out of that with 3 points. They get a win. The Maple Leafs beat the shit out of them, and then they send it to overtime with the Bruins. And now the Washington Capitals are in control of the final divisional spot out of the Metropolitan Division, tied with the Flyers at 82 points, but the Flyers have played 2 more games. So the Capitals will take over that spot. Flyers still hold on to the advantage in the wild card for the final wild card spot. They are 2 points up on the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings do have one more game to play. They have a tough little stretch here. They play the Lightning, the Rangers, the Lightning and the Rangers this week, and then they have the Sabres and Caps next week. The Capitals, they play the Sabres Tuesday, the Penguins Thursday. Both of those very winnable games. Not terrible opponents, but not great. But not great. So I mean, very well. And then a Hurricanes, a really tough one on Friday for them. So big week for them. The Flyers here, we have the Islanders tonight. The puck drop on that is not too far away. They're a decent team. I mean, if you look at the standings, they're a couple points back behind us, but they're okay. It's not going to be an easy one. Same thing with the Sabres. Not great, but they're not awful. So I mean, winnable games, but they're not going to be cakewalks. And the cakewalk games aren't winnable apparently when you lose to the Canadians and the Blackhawks by a combined 9-2, and then the Blue Jackets, who are awful, are on Saturday. So I mean, you got to come out of this week with 4 or 5 points, you have to think, with the way things are going. Again, they are still in control of the final. I don't know how the tiebreak goes, but right now they're up in the wild card. That could change quickly. So 7 games remain for the Flyers. Islanders, Sabres, Blue Jackets, Canadians again, so shitty team there. Rangers, tough game down the stretch. Devils hasn't been their best year. And then the Caps to end it. So I mean, there's some winnable games for the Flyers coming home. The Caps play a little tougher. They have the Sabres twice. They have the Penguins, the Hurricanes. The Senators are not very good. The Red Wings, again, a team fighting. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who are solid. The Bruins, again. So, the Capitals' schedule is a little tougher. The Red Wings, let's see how the Red Wings schedule looks coming down the stretch to get, excuse me, Lightning, Rangers, Sabres, Pens, Leafs, and then they play the Canadians on back-to-back nights to end the year. So, I mean, they're looking for 4 points in those last 2 games. But some tough ones kind of mixed in there with the Leafs and the Lightning and the Rangers. They do play the Caps in there as well. So, it's coming down to it. We have 2 weeks of the season left pretty much, and it's going to be a photo finish. Hopefully the Flyers can keep it together. Baseball season is back, ladies and gentlemen, and the Cleveland Guardians have started off on the right foot. They get out and win 3 of their first 4 games in a series with Oakland. I believe the Yankees and Tigers both undefeated so far, 4-0 and 3-0 in the AL. and the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers, both 4-0 and 3-0 respectively in the NL. So Cleveland sits in an early standings update. Cleveland sits just a half a game back of the Tigers after the first weekend. Some good things out of Cleveland. Granted, Oakland, I think, is projected to be one of the worst teams in the league. So helpful to start there. That does not hurt at all. Shane Bieber was dealing in the first game. Let me see here. Yeah, he went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, no earned runs, only walked 1 and struck out 11. So a great start from the Biebs. Cleveland scores 8 runs in the Thursday opening game. I was able to kind of watch Thursday and Friday's games because the NCAA tournament was going on, so I stayed up late. Otherwise, there was no chance I was going to watch these games starting at 9 o'clock. Man, I caught the first couple innings. Friday, didn't see as much of the game Friday, but a 6-4 win. Get out early, 3 runs in the first, and just kind of tacked on a couple more in the 5th, another in the 7th. Logan Allen gives us five innings, only allows 6 hits, 300 runs, and the bullpen keeps it together. Manuel Clase in at the end of the game, a guy that I would have to imagine is probably on the block, as well as Bieber this year. 12 runs on Saturday, 12 runs, 15 hits. The Quanster, Stephen Kwan, hits a home run. I believe that was the first home run of the year. Let me double check. Let me go back. I lied. Jose hit one on Friday night. That's right. I forgot about that. So 3 good wins early, scoring 8, 6, and 12 runs. Yesterday, Sunday, a bit of a tough one. Fall down early, or down 3 runs going into the 8th. Score 3 runs. And then the bad things happened. Just kind of an inexcusable mistake. Get runners on first and third with no outs. Bo Naylor is on third base. The Athletics really just trying to lose the game for us. And Naylor gets thrown out at third on a bunt attempt. I think, was it Gabriel Arias was at the plate. Bunt doesn't go down. Catcher turns and chucks it down the third baseline and gets Naylor out. And all of a sudden, first and thirds with no outs becomes first with an out. And, then it kind of petered out from there. There was a chance to get something going because there was another error or two by the A's. And just first and third with no outs. I mean, just hit one into the outfield and, oh, gosh. And then it gets bad. Bases get loaded. Eli Morgan comes in after the bases are already loaded and walks home the winning run. So the hopes of a sweep were yanked out from under us like that, like a rug just being taken out from underneath our feet. But either way, 3-1. That's what you're looking for. Win series. That's what you're looking to do in baseball. You want to win the series. So got another West Coast series coming up. The Mariners start tonight. They'll be playing at 8:40 tonight and Tuesday. Might not catch a whole lot of those games, but we'll see. And then a little afternoon tussle on Wednesday. Then they start a 3-game stand in Minneapolis against the Twins, the Twin Cities. That series is actually split up by an off day in the middle of the series. So they play Thursday, are off, then play Saturday and Sunday, all day games. So nice early viewing slots for those. So yeah, hey, good start. They will not be home until next week when the White Sox and Yankees come to town over that whole week. So yeah, hey, good start to baseball. Couple baseball things looking like we're going to get a baseball preview hopefully in a week or two. Once we get through the NCAA tournament for the most part and get most of that hubbub out of the way, we'll see if we can't do a full baseball preview for you guys. There was an interesting thing that kind of went around with the MLB schedule. There's some questionable scheduling of the first week of the season. Let me see if I can swing back to it. So what do we start? Thursday? Yeah, so Thursday, you just look at some of these games being played. Like, the Angels played Baltimore in Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore's a little farther south, but, couldn't we have played that in LA the first week of the season? The Blue Jays played Tampa Bay. Why not play those two teams separate so you can get a game in a dome in the cold weather? Tigers and White Sox, again, another tough one. I know the Phillies got rained out because they were playing the Braves, so they ended up having a game pushed back. So, like, Philadelphia played a home game. The Mets got rained out. The Brewers play in a dome. The Mets and the Brewers were playing the dome. Like, there just felt like some easily avoidable kind of mistakes where you could take teams and match up teams with domes or in warm weather for at least the first couple weeks of the season, where, you know, I know you don't want to send every, you know, cold weather team on the road for like the first, you know, week of the season. But I mean, if you're going to push the season start into March, like places like Cleveland and New York and Boston and, you know, Chicago and Detroit and Philadelphia and Baltimore and, you know, places like that, it's cold in March, man. Like, work with them. Get farther south. Get in domes. I know you're going to be taking some of those teams and just kind of shoving them off for the first week of the season. But hey, if you want your season to start in March, there's kind of things you got to do. So, all right, let's keep rolling. We'll do a quick little PGA Tour check-in here. Steven Jaeger, after 135 events, brings home his first professional golf, PGA Tour professional golf win. He holds off a charge from Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler, looking to be just absolutely inevitable, tries to come storming back at the end of the round. Hits one to about 6.5 feet on the final hole, and just doesn't hit a good putt, man. Just doesn't hit a good putt. Scheffler finishes the day 2 under, a 3 under finish for Jaeger. Again, we're going to talk about, I mean, it's the inevitable conversation right now is, how does Scottie Scheffler putt? In the final round, Scottie Scheffler lost 2.3 strokes to the field, strokes gained putting. 2.3, and he lost by 1 shot. Round 3, he gained 2.2 when he shot 4 under. Round 2, he lost 2.04. Round 1, 2.06. So for the event, plus 0.12. So he had just a completely average putting, but there were a couple of shaky misses. I think he 3-putted from 6 feet one day. Like I said, he missed that the putt to send it to a playoff on the 18th after hitting just a beauty in, cut one back into the wind. It was gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. The question becomes, it's a weird question. It's like, oh, do you want to win 3 times going into the Masters? Because he's not playing next week. But I think the answer to that, you see that question out there. I don't want to say the question becomes. That question gets thrown out there. Oh, did you want to win 3 times? I mean, you don't want to win going in. I don't know that there's ever a time where you're like, yeah, I don't want to win this week. I'd rather not win. Like, I'm pretty sure he wanted to win. And I'm pretty sure he'd rather not have the conversations in the press conferences leading up to the Masters being, tell us about that 6-footer you missed, or the 3-putt earlier in the week. So I think he would have rather just won the golf tournament. Like, I don't think it was a problem that he would have won. That said, it would have been media circus about him going in. And there were I saw a lot of things on Twitter. You always do. And they're like, oh, I don't want to hear the Scottie comparisons to Tiger anymore. The comparisons of Scottie and Tiger were to his ball striking, not his winning. It was his ball striking. He was ball striking it like nobody has since Tiger. That's still true to this day. Through that putt. Is he the winner that Tiger is? No, but no one is. Like, that's when those things, I mean, by most sane people, when those things are getting thrown around there, no one's like, Tiger makes that putt problem. Like, that's just kind of how it went. But I stand by, like, what I've said about, you know, Scottie is ball striking it like nobody since Tiger. It's unbelievable. That doesn't change. I mean, if you look at it for the event, strokes gained tee to green, plus 2.65. Strokes gained approach, plus 1.52. And this was a down week. Like, that's the wild thing. I mean, round 2, he gained 3.42 strokes gained tee to green. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, 4th round, 3.9 strokes gained tee to green. He made up for the losing almost 2.5 shots tee to green. So that's still impressive. Again, he's not Tiger Woods. Was he striking it with comparable numbers to Tiger Woods? Yes, and I'm standing by that. Next week, Valero Texas Open, probably be kind of another weaker field. And then we got a nice stretch coming up. We got the Masters. In case you're wondering, the Corrales Punta Cana Championship is also after that. But then RBC Heritage, which is another elevated designated event signature. Signature, is it designated? I don't know. So two good weeks in a row after we get through the Valero Texas Open this week. So, all right, let's move on. Time for some passing thoughts. I'll give you guys a full one this week. I cheated you last week. No passing thoughts. That's on me. That's on me. That's my bad. Don't worry. I got you guys this week. We got a full one coming your way. WrestleMania is right around the corner. Monday Night Raw is about to start as I'm recording here at this moment on Monday night. Monday Night Raw last week was phenomenal. I knew it was WrestleMania season, so I kind of flipped her on. I started like an hour and a half late. So they start off with Cody Rhodes, and then bam, The Rock. Here he comes. Unannounced. He's here. He's out it. He's in it. No words spoken. The Rock's new theme song slaps. They got the old If You Smell in there at the start, but then it kind of goes into like a little Hollywood. He's still wearing the vest of the $500 shirts. Just a fun scene with that. So then, we get in further. CM Punk makes a little return. We're in Chicago. It's loud. Drew McIntyre has some words he wants to exchange with him. Seth Rollins gets in the mix. Just a fun-ass segment with that. Drew McIntyre is apparently killing it right now. So I caught up. I read a little bit that he's just been going nuts with this character and calling out CM Punk and calling out Rollins. He has a match with Rollins at WrestleMania this weekend. So that whole segment was great. That was like a 20-minute segment. The night ends with The Rock brutalizing Cody Rhodes. He's dropping F-bombs on the air. It was wild. It was the best episode of Raw I've watched in, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch many anymore. I haven't watched consistently in shoots since 2017, 2018-ish. I'm shaking the camera here. But man, it was fun. It got me so far. I am so fired up for WrestleMania. I'm tuning into Raw tonight. It's going to be Raw and the Flyers going split screens here. I'm ready for WrestleMania this weekend. I'm pumped. There's a gentleman you guys need to follow on Instagram. Tim Naki. Naki. N-A-K-I. Tim. T-I-M. T-I-M ain't nothing to fuck with. But Tim Naki on Instagram is betting, it fluctuated for a little bit, but he's betting 10 cents for every follower he has. So of late, he's been betting in the neighborhood of, $30,000 to $35,000 a hand on blackjack. One hand a day. He posted on Instagram, and he's fucking electric. And he's on an all-time heater, and it's absolutely incredible. When I see that come across my Instagram feed, I will pause whatever show I'm watching for the minute and a half of this guy talking of, I think maybe he's the Australian or New Zealand. I don't know what it is. He's got a fun accent. My man brings the energy. It's must-see TV for me. Absolutely must-see TV. He's up $250,000. It's absolutely ludicrous. It feels staged. It's so good, but I'm just gonna hope that it's not, because it's been absolutely fantastic, and I suggest it to everybody. Guys, I got a haircut the other day, and my hair is terrible. But the lady who cuts my hair, I usually always part my hair this way, to my right. And If you've seen my hair when I'm on there, I mean, if I show you right now, that hairline is sneaking back there, ladies and gentlemen. It's sneaking back there. The hair's getting a little thin. Your boy's not going to have hair for much longer in life here. But this lady, she parted my hair this way at the end of the haircut, and I don't even know if I would have noticed it. But I went to the gym right after, and I was lifting. I wasn't going to just get on a treadmill. I was going to lift. So I'm, all the mirrors are around. And I'm kind of looking at the mirrors, and I'm like, wait a second. Does my hair look way better like this? I can't believe I didn't think to it, but it looks like fuller. The way it covers up the hairline loss. Like for all these years, I could have given myself an extra couple of years of look, with just parting my hair in the other direction. That's all I had to do, was just part my hair to the left instead of to the right, and we were good. That was all it is. What a discovery. What a discovery. What a discovery. Oh, here's a good one. This was floating around in the Twitter's verse. Jon Stewart sold like a New York City apartment for like $18 million or something, and like the assessed value was like so low. And then of course there's the idiots who are like, oh, it's bad if Trump does it, but if Jon Stewart does it, it's fine. Okay, first of all, let's start here. What Jon Stewart did was fine. Totally fine. Totally fine. What the tax assessor assesses your property for is not its market value. I'm an idiot, and I know that. Someone was willing to pay whatever they paid for Jon Stewart's apartment. That's fine. The problem is when those people who say that's okay bag on Trump. And again, I can't believe I'm talking about this again, because I had to see the stupidity of this. In that, what a tax assessor assesses a home, a building, that's not its market value. And the fact that they tried to say that Trump overinflated and it should be $18 million for that property, which is absurd. But again, there were banks involved that gave him the loans. Like, I love the thought that if my house, if I just tell the bank it's worth $1 million, it's not. But if I were to tell the bank it's worth $1 million, that they're just going to be like, "Yup, checks out. You got $1 million worth of loan that's sitting on collateral for." First of all, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, maybe we're going to look at that if they feel it's wrong. So they would, they'd hire their own assessor to take a look at it. But if they didn't, and they went through with it, and I took that $1 million loan, and then I paid them back, there's nothing wrong. They made an assessment to give me the loan. I paid it back. I paid it back with interest. It's all good. No one was harmed. Everyone got out of it what they needed. It's all okay. What Jon Stewart did was okay. What Trump did was okay. Move on. We move on. We move on to Pizza Hut personal pan pizzas. I haven't had one of these fucking things in a long time. But I was out on the road. I had an appointment around lunchtime. And where this place was, there wasn't any good food options. And I was at a gas station getting gas. And I had to go to the bathroom. I walk in there, and there's a Pizza Hut. And there's those personal pan pizzas. And they've slid them right down the thing. And one was just staring me in the face. And it was fresh. I was in there at 11:15 or whatever. It's like, this pizza was put out, it's like at 11:10, asked for a new one after, 11:45. It's like, ooh, we're fresh. We're hot and fresh. And man, did that Pizza Hut personal pan pizza did not let me down. Did not let me down one bit, ladies and gentlemen. I loved it. What let me down were those shitty breadsticks. I had high hopes for the breadsticks. I thought that I was going to like the breadsticks more. I always remembered really liking Pizza Hut breadsticks. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad batch, but those things were trash. Trash. Absolute garbage. And it really hurt me. Watch Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime. Also, I see Amazon Prime has ads now, and I have to pay. Like, I guess if I want to, I can pay for a higher, class of subscription. I mean, I just get Amazon Prime because the roommate uses Amazon like it's going out of fucking style. But either way, there was just a couple of ads right at the start of that movie, and they said, oh, it's now ad free for the rest of the movie. Funny movie, really funny movie. Zac Efron, oh god, Tito, Andrew. Oh my gosh, who's the redheaded comedian? I see his stuff. Bad Friends. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Oh gosh, now I gotta look the movie up. Ricky Stanicki. Andrew Santino. Thank you. Good Lord. Yeah, so Zac Efron, Andrew Santino, John Cena, of course, are all in it. William Macy, Jeff Ross makes an incredible little kind of cameo spot. Fun movie. I mean, it's kind of a unique movie premise that hasn't been beat to death. It doesn't feel like. John Cena is very good. I'm really a little off put at Zac Efron being middle aged and like playing middle aged men now, and like kind of being a nice guy. Like I don't know. I just always kind of envision him as a prick for whatever reason. Like kind of the Baywatch, the Neighbors kind of pricky thing of it. And I remember back when I was in high school or I was in like grade school and leading into high school, and like High School Musical came out, so that was kind of like a kind of a big thing at the time. It was just weird seeing him be like a middle-aged man and playing a middle-aged man in a marriage, and like I don't know, it was just a little unsettling for a second. It made me like, damn it, I'm getting old. It's happening. I'm turning 33 this week, so your boy's getting up there. I'm almost in my mid-30s, so that's happening. So yeah, and I guess we'll just close it out with that I crushed it at Easter dinner. Roommate found a beef tenderloin at a great price, big old sumbitch. Ended up having to chop that bitch into two so I get it in the pan to sear it. Then we have a roaster oven, a standalone roaster oven. Apparently in the Midwest, it's a Nesco is what people call it, the Nesco oven. I always just called it a roaster oven or the turkey oven. It was like, the separate one you put out in your garage, you plug it into the wall. And, Mom used to love it because you didn't have to use up any extra oven space when you're trying to cook a bunch of stuff. And there were other things that were cooking. The green bean casserole had to go into the oven. The potatoes, the scalloped potatoes had to get in the oven. They were delicious as well. The roommate's homemade rolls really crushed it for Easter dinner. But the chef's kiss, your boy brought it home with the beef tenderloin. We seared it up in a cast iron. Then we covered it in a garlic and herbs compound butter to get it into the roaster. We put it in there for about 25-30 minutes. Got it to a nice medium rare, a little more done on the outsides. The roommate likes it a little more done. Nothing was overdone. There was still pink and everything. Not quite as I like it. I like it red pretty much, but the middles had a nice reddish pink to them too. Oh, your boy brought it home. Your boy can cook some meats. I can't do a lot else in the kitchen, but meats, I can do it. So the meats were fantastic. Who's got the meats? Ole Walls House got the meats. All right. That does it. Let's go wrap this up. Time, everybody. Thank you again. Thanks for coming along the way, watching and listening. I appreciate all you guys. So big thank you to everybody who watches, who listens, however you get it delivered to you. Big thanks to producer Kevin as always. I know I've taken over production. As you can see, there's probably been a significant drop in how good the production is. But appreciations to him cannot be understated. Or cannot be overstated. They can easily be understated for getting this thing helping me get this thing off the ground and running it for so long, kind of coaching me through it. So many thanks. Back next week, we got Final Four to talk about, WrestleMania. We got another golf tournament. We got Flyers on a playoff push. We got baseball back in full swing. I said we're going to do a baseball segment coming up soon. That's going to happen. Might have someone on to talk about talk WrestleMania too. See if I can track someone down for that. So a lot of fun stuff coming. And then after that, we got the Masters and good stuff. Just good stuff is out there. So let's look forward to all that. And until then, peace.